Good evening and welcome again to Women to Women. It's a pleasure to have you with us. I'm Carol Paz, your hostess, and we do have a very special lady tonight that I'm going to introduce in just a few moments. But first, I'd like to thank our sponsors for this first half. We'd like to welcome Bank of the West, a brand new sponsor right here in Carson City, a hometown favorite, and for the state of Nevada as well, a hometown favorite. We'd also like to thank Villa Basque Deli Cafe, home of Pete's famous Basque chorizo, which is so delicious, as well as Carpa Nevada LLC, importer of the fine Portuguese olive oils and the balsamic vinegar, which is aged from Modena, Italy. So we'd like to thank everyone and welcome our guest, Sue Lowden.
Thank you, Carol. It's wonderful to be here.
It's great to have you here. And I know, Sue, that this is an important year for you as well as for us, because it can make some changes in how things get done in government, and that you're running a very important race. But you know, I'm a newcomer to Nevada, and I'd like to get to know your background a little bit. So for our viewing audience out there, as well as for your hostess, where did you come from originally?
Originally, I came from New Jersey. I was born in Camden, New Jersey. And for those who are familiar with New Jersey, Camden is about as Jersey as you can get.
Oh, yes,
but my
the
grandparents,
baseball.
Yes, my grandparents came from Lithuania. I'm second generation Lithuanian. They came to Ellis Island in the early 1900s.
Their history is there.
Yes. So they worked in the coal mines in Pennsylvania for a while, and then they moved to New Jersey, and they worked in the shipyard there. They were hardcore blue-collar workers.
And the granddaughter of immigrants.
Yes.
That's wonderful. It's a great background.
Yes.
So how did you come to be a member of the Nevada?
Well, you know, the wonderful thing about Nevada traditionally is that it's been the home of jobs. It's been a land of opportunity where people want to come because there's jobs here and there haven't been jobs, for instance, in New Jersey. So in 1978, I had an opportunity to come here as a reporter for our CBS affiliate in Las Vegas, KLAS TV 8. And I was one of the first women hired to be a reporter. And I came here for the job, and I worked there for 10 years. I worked my way up. I clawed my way to the top and became an anchor woman, and very much loved my job, loved my career, and have lifelong friends from that time on television. And then I stepped down from that position after the second baby, and after my husband suggested that I join him in his business career. And I thought that that would be a good thing. I had made the choice to get married. I had made the choice to have children. And you know, when you anchor the news or when you're a reporter on the news, it's not flexible at all. No. The hours are 6 o'clock. If it's the 6 o'clock news, there's no wiggle room there. If it's the 11 o'clock news at night, there's no wiggle room. Yeah. So I needed something that was a little more flexible, and I changed careers.
Let me take you back a little bit in time, okay, before arriving here in Nevada. And your interests as a young woman, where did they lie? Were you an adventuresome spirit? Were you a really classroom spirit? Did you like to read? Did you like the outdoors? Where were your interests then?
Well, you know, I grew up near a beach, on the Jersey Shore. I know that program gives New Jersey sort of a bad reputation, but for those of us from that area, that is where you spend your summers.
That's right.
And I worked just about every summer of my teenage life as a waitress at the Jersey Shore in a little town called Wildwood, New Jersey.
I know where that is.
You do?
Yes, I lived in New York for 28 years.
Okay, so you know that. And I waitressed my way through high school and most of my college career. I waitressed every summer in Wildwood. So I would love to say that I did this and I did that, but I was raised more or less by a single mom, and I worked anytime I could grab a job, I worked. And I helped support myself and her.
That says a whole lot about your character, Sue. The days when I, too, to help put myself through college, waitressed on tables on the turnpike, okay?
There you go.
That went from New Jersey right into Ohio. But it also says that there was that sense of commitment to family, a sense of commitment to yourself, that when you took on a job, there was purpose behind it. And it was something that you very much vitally needed financially, but it was also something that you were personally taking on, and working with the public is always a challenge.
Well, I never looked at it that way. I always liked working with the public. I loved waitressing. And I enjoyed having people come back, for instance, and ask for me, can I sit in Sue's section? What a compliment is that?
Yes.
So I never looked at working like that as something in a negative sense. I always truly loved it. And I have a sense of that I can make the best of just about anything. And I'm happy about most things in life. But I loved working as a waitress, and now I find myself, all these years later, part owner of a casino. I have my health card, so I can still waitress. I don't want anybody to say that you know, she shouldn't be doing that, she can't pick up a dish or whatever like that. So I went to the health department, relicensed myself, and I'm still waitressing in a sense.
You know, that's so true. And it also speaks of another characteristic that you have, which is practicality.
Yes, that's true.
Common sense.
Yes.
Because not only as women, but I think as partners in marriage, as partners in business, there is a sense that we have to use a real eye for what is quality, what is not quality, what is something that's going to establish good customer relationship, and what won't. Yes. And you're all about serving the public in many ways and making sure that when you commit to them, you're answerable to them.
Absolutely. You know, I know we're going to go into my more recent background pretty soon, but I think that my customers in Laughlin at the Pioneer love it when I come up and say, are you done? Take their dish.
Right.
Or can I get you another drink? Or can I do whatever? And they love that the owner actually interacts with the customer.
Very much so.
Actually the employees like that as well. You know,
it's a compliment to them from you. And vice versa, it's a compliment to you from them because they enjoy your appreciation of them. And there's a return there. There's a gracious giving back and forth that what's what I call great customer service. Because without them, we don't exist.
I totally agree. No, you know, when you're a tourism-based industry, the tourist is everything.
Yes.
So I try to do it all.
Okay, now, you hinted that you are a business owner, okay, in Laughlin. So bring us up to date. What does that exactly mean?
Well, my husband and I and our family own a small casino and hotel. When I say small, by Las Vegas standards, it's small, okay. 400 rooms.
That's big to me.
I know, that's why I have to clarify that. Depends on where you're at, on if it's big or small. And we're right on the Colorado River.
It's beautiful.
And we have a little apartment there where we stay when we are working there. And it's so close to the water, our apartment, that I can hear the rush of the Colorado. That's how close it is. It's beautiful. And can I give a plug and say I want everybody to come to Laughlin and come down and enjoy the river, which is just full of activities all summer long, all spring long too.
You know, one of the best experiences of my life with my husband, Jose, was staying at Laughlin, taking the boat ride down the Colorado River into Arizona. And I thought, wow, I wish everybody had an opportunity to experience the serenity of parts of the river and the excitement of the other parts. It's a great place to visit, but even if you have only a day or two, to be a part of, because it's very different than Camden, New Jersey.
It sure is. And you know what's so wonderful about Laughlin, too? You can step outside and look up in the sky, and you see the beautiful stars. You really have an appreciation of the mountains. It's a wonderful little town. It's truly a jewel in that area to be able to go there. And my husband and I frequently go down and stay there for a while and work for a while there. We have our children all work there, and we'll find an act that we want to go see, for instance, the Oak Ridge Boys, or Debbie Reynolds, or Jack Jones, or somebody like our era. And we'll go down and make a whole, big weekend of it.
And it kind of brings you back to roots, doesn't it?
Yes. Yes, it does.
You're out on a campaign, you're traveling the entire state of Nevada, but it's always necessary as well as good to find yourself again, to get that perspective back that you need, because traveling can take you away from something that's very precious at home.
Yes, and there's nothing like coming back to a small town. You know, Laughlin, I say I'm from Laughlin and Las Vegas, so I have to do the dual, but Laughlin, you know everybody. You know, you go to church, you know everybody at church, you know your priest, you know the person at the beauty shop, you know everybody.
But that's what makes you, Sue, and that's what makes other women and men like you who are really homegrown, small town, regardless of where they're coming from. In your case, from Camden, New Jersey. But Camden was your root.
Yes.
It was your taproot. And it's what has given you confidence and energies to take those abilities and talents that you have and bring them someplace else.
Well, thank you for saying that. You know, I think of my grandmother. Camden's a big little town. It's a big town. But you had little sections back then where my grandmother, for instance, and my grandfather lived in a couple blocks of Lithuanian-speaking immigrants. And they swept the streets. They swept their sidewalks and their little stoops. And of course there was no air conditioning or anything like that. And it was a nice little community within a big city. Even their church that they went to, they had a Lithuanian-speaking priest. So it was like a little cocoon within a bigger city.
And somehow coming from small roots like that, but coming from such identifiable backgrounds, your heritage has given you a stability and an energy and a confidence that many would love to have. Many would love to have.
Well, thank you for saying that. I wish they were here to see me now. I sure do. That would be
like
great.
Barbara Streisand. If they could just see me now.
Yes, I don't think they ever imagined their granddaughter was going to grow up and be part owner of a casino and certainly not run for lieutenant governor. I don't think it ever occurred to them, but by the same token, that's why they moved here to this country, for a better life for their children and their grandchildren.
And you know, when we go into the second half of the program, we want to know what made you decide to run for lieutenant governor, to run for anything in politics, okay? It's a key thought that you need to instill in us and keep us going with that thought because it speaks of you as a person heavily. And we'll be right back to find the answer to that question. Don't go away.
I was 36, wanted to do something that was boldly different. We sold our house and drove west with the idea that we were going to be in the wine industry. We lived in a teepee for 2 months.
I mean, if you're going to do something, why not do it with your whole heart?
It's that creative outlet of being able to make something and make something that comes from the land. Bank of the West said, we have complete faith in your brand. Don't do anything to compromise it. Banks don't say things like that.
Hi, I'm Stephen Lincoln with CarsonCityHomes.com, Carson City's original online real estate resource.
At CarsonCityHomes.com, you get effective and easy-to-use tools to help you select your next home today. With our easy-to-use website, you can search listings throughout Northern Nevada and narrow the results by selecting every facet, quirk, and quality you desire. Visit CarsonCityHomes.com.
Apex SEF provides cutting-edge, hands-on training that effectively addresses today's threats of violence.
The Apex Stay Alive course teaches proven methods for personal protection and attack countermeasures that can be applied in any environment. In your home, at the workplace, or on campus, Apex will teach you the necessary skills to stay alive, including how to recognize and react to an active shooter scenario.
If you knew you had to fight for your life tomorrow, would you train today? Contact us now to sign up for a class in your region.
Come to the Carson Horseshoe Club for fun and friendly service. Play your favorite games, join our Players Club where you get cash for points plus food comps, and enjoy casual dining in our Lucky Horse Grill. Get it all in the heart of downtown Carson City at the family-owned, local favorite Carson Horseshoe Club.
In business for over 5 years, Player Owned Music offers music lessons from the best quality music instructors in the area. We also offer band instrument rentals, guitar repair, and we have a recording studio on site. Call us at 885-PLAY.
Welcome back to the second portion of our show, Women to Women. We're here with Sue Lowden, who has a very important question, okay, that we left off with in the end of the first half, and she's going to answer that. But first, we'd like to thank our sponsors of the second half. Dr. Kent Gabriel, noted plastic surgeon here in Carson City, we're so blessed, as well as in Northern Nevada, one of the finest hand specialists there is in the country. We'd also like to thank the Horseshoe Club, which is located right here in the historical part of Carson City. If you step into the Horseshoe Club, you're stepping back into history of the Old West. Don't miss it. And we'd also like to thank carsonnow.org. If there's anything happening in Carson City, the first place to go to is carsonnow.org to find out what happened, all right? It's a wonderful site. So let's return to Sue. Sue, you've really perked our interest here with your decisions to become, I don't want to really use the word politician because I find you so well-rounded in so many backgrounds, okay? But what made you decide to tackle politics?
You know, early on when I first decided to go into the state Senate, and I ran in the 90s, I was just frustrated with my state senator. Okay. I didn't like how he was representing us. I didn't like his votes. So it came from a very personal passion to make sure that he didn't go back.
All right.
And I worked very hard, this is again in the 90s,
right,
to defeat him in insurmountable ways. It just seemed like he would never be defeated because he was the majority leader of the Senate.
Okay.
And people said, well, you know, you're crazy for doing it. But you know, when you have a passion to do something, when you want to affect change,
yes,
when you feel that you can make a difference, you are driven. You're driven to do that.
Plus, it's a gift that's inside of you, Sue, and that gift just doesn't disappear or evaporate.
Well, I never thought of it as a gift, but it is something inside of me,
yes, it is,
that drives me to do it. Because if you don't have that, you couldn't do those things. You couldn't go door to door in 100-degree weather, for instance, in Las Vegas.
And not everybody has that.
No,
passion.
no, they don't.
So that's something special that has become embedded in you, that was given to you, and that just was being nurtured little by little, growing little by little in you until it has to have a way to express itself.
That's probably true. I used to interview when I was a reporter and an anchor woman. I would interview politicians, and I would think, oh my gosh, what are they saying? I can't believe that he just said that. And so it would disturb me early on, some of the views that people had.
Right.
And so it must have been brewing in me, and it had to come out somewhere.
Sure,
so I ran for office myself.
Okay.
And I moved up here to Carson City. I moved my children up here and spent the time at St. Teresa's School. I transferred them, and they got involved in Little League up here. So I made like a nice life here.
Yes.
I loved it here.
Yes.
I'm looking forward, actually, to coming back. And then I took a long time off to raise the children, because it's a lot to juggle. It's a whole lot to juggle.
It is.
And I needed something a little more flexible, so I worked with my husband in our business, in our casino and hotel business. We also owned an ice arena and a bowling center and a daycare center. I thought we needed a daycare center to accommodate our customers, so we opened that. So,
you were a challenge for your husband.
Yes, that's true. He never thought of the daycare center. I thought of it as a marketing tool and a good idea for our business. So I got very involved in business, and I've been in that tourism industry now for 30 years. I went after my gaming license because we are licensees. We do have the casino, and that was you know, a chore. You know, the gaming license is this thick that you have to fill out, and you go to testify and all those things.
Right.
And so I've matured over the years into a businesswoman, someone who very much cares about our business and everybody else's business. Now I care about my children's future, your children, our grandchildren's future.
Oh, yes, very
I want
much.
to make sure that we're in Nevada, that we came and had opportunities. I want to make sure that they have the same kind of opportunities, that they don't have to leave the state to find the good jobs, that they're going to be here. If I can be a spoke in that wheel to make that churn and to make that happen, then I'm never going to look back and say, why didn't I do that?
That's right.
If 10 years from now I look at Nevada and it's not the way I picture it to be, then I'm going to not blame myself, because I'm trying. I'm trying to do it. And I think it's worth the effort. I think it's absolutely worth the effort if you feel strongly about it, and I do. I do.
And you know, it takes very special people who have that strong interest in making differences, better differences for, in this case, the state, the people of Nevada. Nevada's had a rough past few years economically. And in this run for lieutenant governor, what are some of the responsibilities of the lieutenant governor?
Well, that's partly why I'm running, because you are the chairman of tourism of the entire state.
Okay.
And I'm someone who has, for 30 years, been bringing people to Las Vegas and to Laughlin. Someone who's been to the conventions, brought in special events, brought in tourists and conventions to Las Vegas. I'd like to take that expertise and go with the whole state and try to help the entire state. I've been to so many different little communities that have convention centers and economic development authorities, and I would like to help them develop and bring more people here. I was with a group called Las Vegas Events, and I was really fortunate to be with wonderful people who I watched, like Lorraine Hunt and Bob Maxey, who was the president of the MGM, and Michael Gaughan, who's still the president of South Point, but he's owned many different properties. And I watched them with their presentations, and we brought in, during the time I was there, the rodeo, the National Finals Rodeo. And you think, oh, you take that for granted, that of course it's going to go to Las Vegas, but you saw how fragile that was when we almost lost it this year. It does take an expertise. It does take negotiations. It does take someone who knows what they're doing making these presentations. I went with them to Helsinki to make a presentation in front of the International Olympic Committee, where we brought the World Cup jumping horses to Las Vegas. They never thought they'd be coming to Las Vegas for one of their preliminaries to the Olympics, and they're coming back again.
Wonderful.
Yes.
Wonderful.
So when I hear Brian Krolicki talking about the possibility of the Olympics coming to the Lake Tahoe area, I feel good about the fact that I've had some experience working with that group. In a smaller way, of course, but that I have developed an expertise of sorts to be able to do that. And what I tell people is I won't need any on-the-job training. You know, I've done so many diverse things in the field of tourism. So that's the first thing you do, and probably the most important thing, tourism. The other thing is that you sit on the board of the economic development team. And I'm someone, I believe, who's businesses want to talk to when they're thinking about coming here, someone else who has run a business, who has raised her children here, who has actually lived in Nevada. You know, when you move a business here, you're moving families.
Absolutely.
So it's not just about the business moving here, it's about what is it like to really live here? You know, and as someone who's lived in a rural community, someone who's lived in Las Vegas, someone who's lived up here in Carson City, I think I could speak to the different kinds of businesses that are thinking about moving here, and speak to the entire family about what it's like to move here and to be here. And I hope I'm a conduit to making their business work.
And you know, something you're triggering in my mind as you're speaking and sharing. Nevada, the state itself, has tremendous history, has tremendous beauty, but it has a lot of space. And for generations, for decades, Nevada has in some ways been ignored, except for the Las Vegas territories, because there were other coasts, there were other major cities already developed. And when I first came here 4 years ago, and my husband took me all around these little mining...
Virginia City,
Elko. And I said, wow, wow, if every person who really is a true American at heart took to Nevada to see what it took to develop this state, the strength, the fiber, the courage, the backbone, and it's here in Nevada still.
Well, you know, you bring up something interesting that I would like to develop, and that's the film industry here. I think that we are a natural in our state to take the film industry from California, which is so taxed. The burden of taxation there is so much that they are looking for other places. And I'd like to be the one to shepherd them through our state, to show them the beauty of the Sierras, to show them the beauty of the rubies up in Elko, to show them cowboy country and our horses and our large expansion of our beautiful scenery. How about if you want to do a movie on Iraq or Afghanistan? You don't have to go there. All you have to do is go to Hawthorne, which is the same terrain. That's where our military trains right now. Go there and film your movie there. And I could go on and on and on, and I'd like to show the film industry that you don't have to go any further than
across
Nevada.
the border.
That's right, exactly. Now, if they want the beaches or something like that,
yes,
fine, go to Georgia. We don't have that, but we have so much to offer. And not just in Las Vegas, which of course there's a lot of movies that come from there, a lot of TV programs that come from there, but we do have such a beautiful, diverse state. And I don't think the film industry even realizes it's right next door.
And that's isn't that the truth with what's right in front of our nose?
Yes.
We're blind to. We're always looking way down the road,
yes,
someplace else, and here it is, right here in front of us.
And it not only would be good for the economy, say you did a movie in Elko with the rubies and the... Or Dayton, and you think of the money that comes to the local economy to do that, to the state economy,
yes,
but then seeing the documentary or the movie or the TV commercial, whatever it is, filmed in Nevada brings more people here. It goes hand in hand.
It does. Well, you know, this is an interesting balancing act that you have, because I'm wondering, she's touring the state, talking with so many people, so many businesses, but she still has family in Laughlin, children in Laughlin. How do you balance that, Sue?
Well, right now, I'm not balancing it too well because I am on this vigorous tour. I have a primary in June, so I am really going full throttle ahead on this campaign. My family are very loving and very supportive, and come with me. Some of the times they are with me, and they understand that I have this passion. You know, you can't hold something back, and they do. My husband of 32 years realizes that you can't hold back something that is meant to go.
It's a natural in you.
It is, and he sees that, and certainly the children are very supportive, and really, frankly, are very, very proud of me that I have the fortitude to do something like this, and they see the potential of what I can do, and are all for it.
I have to ask this question because I'm admiring what you're saying. I've been in many of those situations myself where it means uprooting, bringing family with you, starting with a different, not a different perspective, but perhaps a path that's going to come together again, where that perspective is. So as a legacy to your family, especially to your children, what is it you hope that they learned from you so they can maintain it in a very quick, kind of short goodbye here? What do you want to leave to your children as a legacy?
Well, I hope that they see that I've given back, that I want to give back in our community and in our state, and they learn that from me, that you take so much from your opportunities here in Nevada, and then it's time to give back. It's time to nurture for other people, to be a mentor to other people, and to make this a better place to live, and I hope that they learn that from me.
Terrific, tremendous, deeply rooted values that we can all appreciate, and I'm behind you.
Thank you, Carol. I really appreciate it. Thank you for letting me come on your program today.
We're honored. We're very pleased that you could find that time in your schedule to do so. So let's all remember the name. We've heard it before many times, Sue Lowden, okay? And all of us say a thank you to her by taking into consideration all of her thoughts here. And we'll be back next week with a brand new guest, but it has been a pleasure to be with you, Sue.
Thank you, Carol.
Take care. Good night. Have a good evening.
Are you looking for a healthier lifestyle? A more nutritious diet? Do you care about quality? If your answer is yes, or if you are just curious, come into Villa Basque Deli and Cafe right here in Carson City, Nevada. Discover fine Portuguese extra virgin olive oils, vintage balsamic vinegars, and a wide assortment of international health teas provided by distributor Carpa Nevada LLC. In addition to these terrific items, Villa Basque is also the home of Pete's famous Basque chorizo, handmade on the premises from Pete's secret family recipe. Satisfy your culinary curiosities. Don't delay.